Hello, everyone. Hello. I hope you're hearing me all well. If not, if you cannot hear me well, please send me on the chat. Um, I hope you're all doing fine and keeping safe in the current circumstances. And I would like to thank you all for giving me the time to walk you through our platform and, of course, answer all of your questions. So, before we start, let me share my screen. It will start sharing right now, so you will be able to see it in a minute. Okay, so in today's webinar, I'm going to walk you through the important features of the Kotobee Author, the Kotobee Reader, and the best uses of our platform. Okay, the first question that we need to answer is, why are we going to use Kotobee? Okay, now in the beginning you were using physical books, right? In the education sector mainly, we were using physical books, and when we went to the digital content, we started using Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, and PDFs. Nowadays we can use interactive documents. Okay, so this is why we're going to use Kotobee. We will create interactive digital content. Okay, so in Kotobee we have three approaches that you can follow. Okay, you're going to create the ebook on the Kotobee platform, and I'm going to show you how in a while. Okay, and with the first approach, you're going to export it as a digital interactive EPUB file. The EPUB file is the digital or the standard format for any interactive ebook. Okay, and this is basically the easiest way. You just create the book on Kotobee, you export it as an EPUB file, and you send it to your users, and they will use the Kotobee Reader in order to read the file. And this is where comes the Kotobee Reader. The Kotobee Reader is an EPUB reader. It's an application to read EPUB files. Okay, so with the first approach, you're going to use, as a teacher, you're going to use the Kotobee Author. Okay, this is the Kotobee Author software. It's a desktop application. You're going to use it to create the book, export it as an EPUB file, and then you send it to your students. The student will then download the Kotobee Reader app in order to open the EPUB file and start reading it. Okay, so this is the first approach, and I'm going to show you how you're going to do this in a while. I'm just giving you an introduction about the three approaches I mentioned. So the second approach is also creating the book on the Kotobee Author, but instead of creating an EPUB file, you will create a standalone app. Okay, so you're not sending the user a file and he's using the Kotobee Reader. No, you're sending him an application. So the user or the student will not need to install anything else other than the ebook app. Okay, the book can be a web app on your website if you do have a website. If you don't, you can host it on Kotobee and just send them a link to the book, which will open as a web app on the web browser, just like this one, like the health.kotobee.com. This is a web app hosted on the Kotobee server, and you can do the same. You can create a book and you can host it on Kotobee and send your students the URL. Okay, so this is one of the options in the second approach. You can also export the book as a desktop app, Windows or Mac. You can export it as a mobile app, Android or iOS, and you can export it as SCORM and put it on a learning management system if you're using one. Okay. Now, the third approach is the library solution, and this is if you have many books. If you have many books, instead of exporting each book as a standalone app, you're going to create one library. You will add all of the books to the library and then export the library into a standalone app, either a web app, a desktop, or a mobile or SCORM, and send it to your users, just like this library app. This is one of the samples that we have created using the Kotobee platform. It's a library for school. It's for grade 4, and it's divided into the courses that they are taking. And if we go to the all books, you will see all of the books inside the library. It's already divided into categories, but you can go to all books and view all of the books inside the library, and you can open the book and start reading any of them. Okay, so this is how the library looks like at the end. Okay, now before I jump into the Kotobee author itself, let me go one step backward. Let me go back to the individual ebook. Okay, I mentioned in the beginning that we're going to use Kotobee to create interactive digital content. Okay, because this is the difference between Kotobee and Microsoft, either Word, PowerPoint, or Adobe, or anything that's creating any other digital content. With Kotobee, you can add interactive content inside your ebooks, and the users can interact with the ebook. Okay, so let me show you how the end product looks like, how an ebook, a finished ebook, interactive ebook looks like, and then we can jump into the Kotobee author to show you how you can do this. Okay, so this is one of the samples. Actually, if you go to our website here, kotobee.com, and you scroll down a little bit, you will be able to see many samples that we have. You can open any one of them to see how it looks like, and maybe you can create a book just like these, like one of these samples. So if we go here to the health and fitness book, you can see this is an interactive ebook. It's divided into chapters and sub-chapters. Okay, I can start navigating by going next, previous, and so on. You can see some images. You can see videos added to the ebook. If we go to the next chapter here, you will be able to see some extra images with different styles and animations, and you can see interactive widgets. Okay, a widget is an interactive component that can be added inside your book, like this interactive chart. Okay, so these interactive charts are widgets created outside Kotobee, and then you can add it inside the book. A widget can be an interactive chart like this one. It can be a puzzle. It can be a game. It can be a calculator. Whatever you need can be created as a widget, and then you can add it inside the book. We have other interactive elements that can be added inside the book, like audio files. Like in this chapter, you can see audio files, videos again. You can see galleries, okay? And we can add questions. And this is a very important feature in Kotobee. We support 5 types of questions that you can add to your students with images, with answer explanations, and so on, and interactive questions. So users will be able to answer the questions, okay, and submit their answer and receive the score, okay, and so on. So this is how an interactive ebook would look like. Now let's jump into the Kotobee author itself, the software itself. Okay, I'm not sure if all of you have downloaded the Kotobee author or not yet, but in order to download the Kotobee author and start using it, you need to go to our website and register with your email address, okay? And after registering, you will receive an email with your own serial number and a link to download the Kotobee author, okay? Now, as you can see here, the Kotobee author is a desktop application, okay? There's a Windows version and a Mac version, of course. After downloading the Kotobee author and logging in with your serial number, you will be able to see it just like what I'm opening here, okay? It's divided into 4 primary panels: the edit, customize, export, and manage panels, okay? And these are the panels that you're gonna use to create the book, customize it, export it into a certain format, and manage the book, okay? So in the edit panel, this is where we create the content of the book, okay? This is where we add all of the interactivity to our ebooks, okay? You can either create from scratch by adding new chapters. You can add sub-chapters by clicking on the plus icon beside the chapter, okay? And so on. You can start dividing the book into chapters and sub-chapters. And while creating the chapters and the sub-chapters, you're going to choose if you want it to be reflowable or fixed. A reflowable layout is a responsive layout. If you open it from mobile devices, iPad, it will adapt to the screen size. The width will be adapted to the screen size. Unlike the fixed layout, it will always be fixed, and the user will need to zoom in and zoom out in order to see the whole content. Okay. So basically, you can start adding new chapters, new subchapters, and start adding content from inside Kotobee, from the interactive menu panel here. Okay, you can start adding images, galleries, links, questions, videos, audio files. All of them are straightforward. Okay, you can start adding images. Just click on add image, add an image, and click on create, and it will be added inside the book. The same goes with the gallery. The same goes with the video or the audio file, where you can either add the video file itself, or you add the URL of the video if it's hosted on another server like YouTube, for example. Okay, and the same goes with the audio file. Most of these features are straightforward. You just need to just click on it and start adding the content. Okay. Now, one of you might ask me, what if I already have the content created outside Kotobee? Now, this is also possible with Kotobee. We have 4 options here. Okay, you can import a PDF. Okay, you can import an EPUB file if you've been working on another authoring software. You can import a Word file. Okay, and you can import an HTML file. So basically, you have all of the options. If you have already created the content outside Kotobee, you can import it into Kotobee and then add the interactive elements over the content from the menu on the right here. Okay, so this is basically how we're going to use the edit panel. Okay, because most of the work is going to be done on the edit panel, since most of you are teachers who are going to create their content by themselves. So you're going to use the edit panel a lot. You're going to use it to create your content and adding the interactive elements into the ebooks. And once you're finished with creating the content of your ebook, you will jump to the customize panel to customize the look and feel of the ebook app. Okay, so we're finished with the content. Now let's customize it. Now let's add our own logo, our own startup image, play around with the colors of the app. Okay, maybe if you have a branding guideline for the Department of Education or your school or your university, you can add the logo, the colors, own theme, basically. And also you can control the features inside the reader itself. In Kotobee, we have certain features. Let me jump back to the interactive ebook I opened a while ago. If I highlight any of the words, I can copy to clipboard, I can text to speech, can Wikipedia lookup, Google lookup, I can add a note over the word, I can highlight it, and I can bookmark the whole page. Okay, so these features as well, you can control them. You can enable or disable any of these features from the customized panel, because maybe one of you don't want the users to be able to copy the text, so you can disable the copy to clipboard. Okay, the same goes to the other features. You can enable or disable any of these features. Okay, also the tabs at the bottom here, chapters, media, notebook section, search, you can also show or hide any of these sections. Okay, you're gonna do all of this before you export the book. When you're done with the customization, now your ebook is ready. Okay, the content is ready, the customization is ready. So now you will jump to the export section. And this is where you choose one of the 3 approaches I mentioned in the beginning. Okay, the first approach was exporting a standard EPUB file. And this is, as I mentioned, the easiest way. Okay, you will just create the book in the edit panel, customize it, and then come here to the export standard file and just create an EPUB file. Okay, when you create an EPUB file, it will be downloaded on your desktop. As I mentioned, your users will use the Kotobee Reader in order to open this EPUB file and start reading the book. Okay, so this is the first approach. The second approach is to export the book as a standalone app. Okay, in this case, your students won't need to install the Kotobee Reader. Okay, you will just export the web app, okay, and upload it to your own website if you have a domain. If you have a website, you can export the web app and upload it to the website. If you don't, you can easily host it on Kotobee. Okay, you can just provide a unique alias, the book's name, for example, and it will be this alias.kotobee.com. This is your URL. You can send this URL to any of your students, and they will just click on it and open it using any web browser. Okay. You can also export the book as a desktop application, a Windows app or a Mac app or a Chrome app. And you will also need to send this app to the user, and they will just click on the file and start reading the book. No need to install anything else. Okay. The same goes with the mobile app. You can export the book as a mobile app, Android or iOS. You will need to have developer accounts on the Google Play and the App Store in order to upload these files there. This way, your students can go to the Google Play and the App Store, search for the book by the name or the title, and just download it, just like what they're doing with any other mobile application. Okay. Now, one of the most important options that we have in Kotobee, and one of the most used exporting options, is the integration with LMS. Most of the universities or schools are using a learning management system. Now, in order to integrate with the learning management system, you need to export your book as a SCORM file. You just export a SCORM file. A zip file will be downloaded to your desktop that you can take and upload to your own LMS, to the learning management system. Okay. So these are the options that you have if you want to go with the second approach, which is exporting your book as a standalone app. The last approach I mentioned was the library solution. If you want to, or if you have many books that you want to convert into interactive digital content, you can go with the library solution. It's the best solution for you in order to have one app that contains all of your books. So you can, whenever you create a book, you just go to the export to library and upload it to your own library app. I'm sure most of you are now using this option with the shared library. You're uploading the book to the shared library, which is a public library. Anyone can access it. It's a public library. So as I mentioned, anyone who has the URL will be able to access the library, search for your book, and open it. What I'm saying is that you can have your own personal customized library app. Okay. So in order to start uploading the books to your own library app, you will need first to go to the Manage panel under Libraries section and create a new library. Okay. When you create a new library, you will have access to these sections, and you're going to use these sections to manage everything inside your library. Okay. So you have the settings here to declare the library to be private, and this is how it's going to be different than the shared library. With the shared library, as I mentioned, it's public, anyone can access it. But with the private, with the customized personal library, you can make it private. There will be a login page. Okay, no one can read the books unless they log in first, like this library, for example. Okay, this is a sample library. You can also access it. Just type astronomy.kotobee.com. Okay, and it's a private one. I cannot read the books unless I log in first. Even if I close the login page here and I go to all books and I click on any of the books inside the library, I would still won't be able to access it unless I log in first. So this is how a private library would look like. Okay, so this is from the settings, and you have also other privacy settings that you can enable or disable. With the customized panel, this is where you customize the library, how the library looks like. Just like we did with the individual ebook, you can do it with the whole library app. Okay, you can customize it and white label it. The book section and the categories are pretty much straightforward. You can add, edit, or delete books and categories dynamically at any time. The users section, this is where you can add, edit, or delete users as well by their email addresses. And we have several ways for adding users. Either you add them by yourself, or you use our API or our plugins for the users to be added automatically. In all of the cases, your users will be added to the library and they can start logging in and reading their books. The same goes for promo codes. You can create promo codes, okay? You can also export the library into different formats, just like we did with the individual ebook. Okay, with the individual ebook, we were able to export it into different formats. It's the same with the library. You can export it as a web app, desktop app, mobile app, and you can also export the library as a SCORM app to put it on the learning management system. Okay. One of the most important features in the library is the dashboard. You need to keep track of your content. Okay. You need to check the efficiency of your content. So with the dashboard, You can see the logins, the signups, the devices the users are using to access your library, the top 10 active users, the active books, the chapters, the links that are being clicked, the time spent over the whole library or certain books. And of course, we're going to add more features to the dashboard later on. Okay. So this is basically how you can use the Kotobee platform. Okay. Let's give a quick conclusion to what I have just said. Okay, we're going to use the Kotobee author to create our own interactive digital content, okay, and export it into different formats. You can export the books into EPUB files and send them to the users, and they will use the Kotobee Reader app to read these files. You can also export these books as standalone apps, web, desktop, mobile, and SCORM for LMS. And you can use the Kotobee author to create your own library, add all of the books to the library, and start managing the library from inside the Kotobee author. Okay. So this is how we can use the Kotobee author. These are the uses and the important features of the Kotobee author and the Kotobee reader as well. So now I can start answering your questions. If you want to send me a question, please send it on the chat and I will be more than happy to help you. Also, if you want, if you don't have questions now and you might have other questions later on when you try the software, you can send me the questions on my email at any time and I will be more than happy to help you. Okay, I have a question. May I know on how we can avail the app or is it free? Okay, that's a very good question. Thank you, Melnid. Okay, so actually the Kotobee author has a free license. Whenever, as I mentioned, you go to the website here and you register with your own email, you will get a serial number that you can use. Actually, the serial number is for using the free license. With the free license, you can use the software to create as many books as you want, okay? And you can export these books into EPUB files, web apps, or desktop apps with the free license. There will be some limitations with the free license. The book cannot exceed 10 pages. So the maximum number of pages is 10 pages, and it cannot exceed 20 megabytes in size. Okay, so each book must be less than 10 pages, less than 20 megabytes in size. And of course, you cannot add your own logo from the customized panel. The Kotobee logo will always be available in the book. So this is how you can use the free license. There are other paid licenses in order to remove these limitations. If you go to the pricing page in our website, you will be able to see them. In order to remove the limitations I've just mentioned, you will need to get the basic license. Now, the basic license is $150 and it's paid only once in a lifetime. You pay it once and you have the license forever. And with it, you will be able to remove the limitations. You can create unlimited number of books with no limits on the size or the pages if you're exporting EPUB or web apps or desktop apps. If you need to export SCORM or mobile, you will need to get the premium license. And it's also a one-time payment. You also pay $300 only once and you get the license forever. Let's go back to the questions. Okay, so a very good question from Judith. You said how mobile app credits be utilized. Okay. As I mentioned, you have a free license or you get a paid license. With the free license, you also have 3 mobile app credits that you can use. You can export 3 mobile apps. Whenever you go here to the export mobile app, you will find the available credit here, 3 credits, okay? Whenever you export a mobile app, a credit will be deducted, okay? So for example, if you have a book and you exported the book as an Android app and once as an iOS app, now these are 2 credits deducted from your 3 credits if you're using the free license, of course, okay? With the free license, you can export 3 mobile apps, but also with the Kotobee watermark. You cannot remove the Kotobee watermark, and the limitation is still there. You cannot exceed 10 pages, you cannot exceed 20 megabytes in size. If you get the premium license, you will have 5 credits. You can export 5 mobile apps with your own watermark. You can remove the Kotobee watermark, and there is no limit on the number of pages, and the size limit will raise from 20 megabytes to 100 megabytes. Okay, so this is with the paid license. Let's go back to the questions. Will the students need to pay when using Kotobee Reader when opening an ebook? No, they won't. The Kotobee Reader app is a free EPUB reader. Anyone can use it to read any EPUB file. It can be downloaded from here, from the Kotobee website. If you go here to Kotobee and you go to pricing, or you go to the Kotobee Reader page here, you will be able to see links, different links to download the Kotobee Reader, either the Windows app, the Mac app. You can go to the Google Play to download it on your Android device, or the App Store to download it on your iPhone or iPads, of course. So it's a free EPUB reader. Anyone can use it to read any EPUB file, not just the ones created on Kotobee. Go back to the questions. Thanks, sir. Will the data not lost in free license? No, it won't, because when you're creating an ebook on Kotobee here, whenever you finish working with the book, or you're still working and you're going to continue another time, just click on the save. Just save it. The book will be saved as a KPOP file. It's the same as the EPUB, but it's the standard format for books created on Kotobee. Okay, so you can save it as a KPOP file. You can get back to it at any time. Even if you finished it, you're having a backup on your device. Always keep a backup on your machine. Always click on the save button to save your work from being lost. Okay. And even if you're going with any of these options, exporting a web app, a desktop, a mobile, or a SCORM, also export an EPUB file. Always keep an EPUB file and an EPUB file of your ebook on your machine as a backup. Okay. How long can we enjoy the free premium account? Okay, so just to make sure you understand, Abigail, the premium account is not for free. To get a premium license, you need to pay for it. It's $300 to get a premium account. If you're talking about the free license, with the free license, it's forever. With all of the options I mentioned, the free license is forever. You can use it forever. Okay. And even with the paid license, when you get the paid license is a lifetime license. So you can use it forever. As I mentioned, you only pay once and you have the license forever, just like the free license. Okay. If we pay, what will be the options in paying, or how can we pay? Okay, we have many options for purchasing the license. The easiest one is to go to the website here and just choose one of the licenses. Just click on pay, on buy, and continue with the payment process. You can pay using a credit card or a MasterCard. Okay, this is one of the options. The other option is to wire transfer the amount. If you don't have a credit card or a MasterCard, you can just send me an email telling me which license you want to get, and I will send you our bank information, and you just make a wire transfer from your own bank. So these are the two easiest ways to purchase a license. Let's go back to the questions. Can we install Kotobee Author to mobile phone? Unfortunately not. It's not yet available to install the Kotobee Author on a mobile device. The Kotobee Author is only available as a desktop application. There is a Windows version and a Mac version. As you can see from here, you can only download Windows or Mac. It's a desktop application. Maybe in the future, we can provide a mobile app version, who knows? But currently, the Kotobee Author is only available as a desktop application. What you can do is you can use it on your desktop or laptop to create books that can work on mobile devices. And this is what I've been saying. With Kotobee, you can create ebooks and digital content that can be opened from any device, but not the Kotobee Author itself, of course. The Kotobee Author, as I mentioned, is a desktop application. Another question, how long can we enjoy the free premium account? As I mentioned before, it's not free. The free license can be used forever. Also, the paid license, it's a one-time payment and you have the license forever. You're also asking, will the students be able to access the Kotobee Reader even without internet? Yes, the Kotobee Reader, when it's downloaded, it's an offline app on your desktop or mobile device. If you have the EPUB file, you just click on Open EPUB and just choose the EPUB file, just like here. You just click on Open EPUB and you choose the EPUB file and start reading it using the Kotobee Reader app. No need for internet. But of course, if you're adding content inside the book that requires internet, like for example, if you're adding a video hosted on YouTube, you're adding a link of the YouTube video inside the book, this video will not work without internet. But other than that, it will work. If the whole book is just text, images, galleries, questions, and so on, it should work without internet connection. I have tried in Kotobee, but I do not know how to upload. Where can I click to upload? Okay, I'll need you to explain a little bit more. I don't know, what do you mean by upload? If you mean you finished working on Kotobee and you want to export the book, as I mentioned in the demo, when you finish working in the edit panel and you customize the book, you jump to the export to export into a certain format, an EPUB file or a standalone app, web app, desktop, mobile, SCORM, or hosted on Kotobee, if this is what you mean. If not, then please send me another question. I already answered that. Will the students be able to access Kotobee Reader even without internet? Yes, as I mentioned, they can. Okay, Harlan, if you can send me the question in English, please. I would like to continue editing with my ebook through my Android phone. Can I install Kotobee Author on mobile phone? As I mentioned, Judith, unfortunately, Kotobee is only available as a desktop app right now, Windows and Mac. Maybe in the future we can provide that, or we can provide it as a web app that you can open from the web browser. But currently, it's only available as a desktop application. Let's go back to the questions. If there's no mobile reader, but if data can be transported to our institution's LMS, then can it be read via LMS? Yes, Melandus. As I mentioned, this is one of the biggest features and one of the most important features in Kotobee, is that you can create the book in the edit panel, customize it, and then go here to the export and export it as a SCORM app. Export the book as a SCORM app and then upload it to your own learning management system. And actually, most of the educational institutes are using Kotobee for this feature. You export the book as a SCORM app and you upload it to your LMS. This way, it's available for all of your students who are logging inside the LMS, and all of the interactions of the user are being reported back to the gradebook of the LMS. Okay, how many machines are allowed for one serial number? 2 machines. For any serial number, you can use it only on 2 machines. Okay. How about the applications put in the ebook? Will it work, such as widgets and apps, Reader, even if offline? As I mentioned, if it's something local, then it should work. If you're adding, let's go back here to the edit panel. Let's say, for example, you're adding a video. If you're adding the video file itself, then yes, it would work offline. No need for internet. But if you're adding a URL of the video, it's a video hosted on YouTube, for example, then it will not work without internet. The video, but the whole book will open. But this video especially, it will not work without internet. Okay, the same goes for other components. But if you're talking about widgets, then widgets, since they are not hosted on another server, they are just a file that's being added inside the ebook. It should work without internet connection. Go back to the questions. Yes, Judith, if you want to ask me questions at any time, just send me an email, and that's for all of you. Just if you need help, if you want to ask questions later on when you try the software more, just send me an email at any time, and I will be more than happy to help you. Let me write my email here, mohi@kotobee.com. Okay, you can send me an email at any time asking for help, sending me your questions, and I will be more than happy to help. Let me continue with the questions. Okay, in the question option, is there a format that the teacher can check the students' quiz results? Okay, this is actually possible. Okay, if we go here to the questions, as I mentioned, we have 5 different types of questions that you can add. Now, in the options of the questions, you can enter your email address. So this way, whenever a student clicks on the submit button, the answers will be sent to this email. You can also add an email address entry instead. So this way, when the student finishes answering his questions, he will enter the recipient email. He will enter the email he wants to send the answers to himself, either this option or this option. You can use any one of these options. But the important thing about these options, they only work with the library solution or the cloud ebook solution. Okay, so if you just add your email and you go here and export an EPUB file, it will not work. Nothing will be sent. You must export to one of these options, either a web app, desktop, mobile, LMS, or hosting, and convert it into a cloud ebook. So it's just like the library, but over one book. The book can be private. It must be private, actually, for the student to have a login credential and logging in with his credential. Because if it's a public ebook, how are you going to know who answered the question? It must be a private book in order for you to know who answered these questions. Okay, so you must be using either the cloud ebook solution or the library solution for this feature to work, sending the results of the question. Let's go back to the question. How can I upload my video using Move? Because I'm using Mac and it says that only, yes, actually MP4, only MP4 is allowed. So you'll need to find an online converter to convert your file into an MP4 format in order to be able to upload it to the book. Okay, so do you have any other questions? Okay, how I can see the notes written by the reader of the ebooks. Okay, so actually this cannot be done by you. The annotations is a feature for the reader himself, not for the author. Okay, so if I'm opening, let's open one of the sample books. Okay, so if I took some notes, highlights like what I've done here, okay, you will find all of the annotations in the notebook section. Okay, you will find all of the notes, the bookmarks, the highlights, all of them will be available in the notebook section. Okay, the thing is, these annotations will only be available to the reader himself, not to the author. Okay, the reader can see all of his notes, bookmarks, and highlights and can export them into a separate PDF that will be downloaded on his machine, on his desktop. Okay, so it's not available to the author, but to the reader. It's to help the reader summarize what he has been reading. Okay. Okay, so I think this is it for now. I hope you've enjoyed the session. One more question from Jocelyn. Does it mean that we won't be able to see the activities done by our students, their scores? No, I'm talking about the annotations, the notes, bookmarks, and highlights. But if you're talking about the questions, as I mentioned, you can have the results of the students sent to you by email if you add your own email in the options tab here. If you open the questions while creating the questions inside the Kotobee author, okay, you can add your own email here. So this way, whenever a student clicks on submit, you will receive the answers, but it's only working with the library solution and the cloud ebook solution. Okay, so if you're just exporting an EPUB file, it will not work. You need to to export the book as a standalone app, either a web app, a desktop app, a mobile, or a SCORM, or host it on Kotobee and convert it into a cloud ebook. So this way, the book can be private, and this way the student will log in using email and password, and you will receive the credentials of the user with his answers. Okay, Joseph, you're asking, is there any possibility that I can read as author the notes written by the reader? There is a way to do it. You can make your book private, okay? If it's, let's say you exported, if you hosted the book on Kotobee, for example, okay? And it's a private, you converted it into a cloud ebook. So this way, the hosted ebook will be private. There will be a login page, and you will be able to manage this book from the cloud ebook section here, just like we did with the library, but this time it's for one book, okay? You can create one promo code for the book that you can send to all of your users. So all of the users will be using just one promo code. This way, whoever takes an annotation or make a bookmark or highlight any word, all of them will be saved in the notebook section. So you will be able to see all of the annotations. But the disadvantage with this option is that it will not be categorized. So if I'm taking a note and another student taking a note, you will not know who took the note. You will only see notes taken. Another way to do it is to create a promo code for each student, and you can log in using the same promo code. So the student is logging in using this promo code, and you as well will be logging using the same promo code. So this way you're seeing all of his annotations. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for the positive feedback, guys. As I mentioned, I think this is it for now. And thank you all for giving me the time to walk you through our platform. I hope you've enjoyed the session. And I've answered all of your questions. As I mentioned, if you got questions at any time, just send me an email with all of your questions. I'll be more than happy to help. And thank you again. I hope all of your colleagues and family are being safe, and try to stay at home until these circumstances improve in the whole world, I hope. Thank you very much again, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.